Yeah, I'm doing a little referee homework here while we're getting ready. The uh, the Super Bowl crew assignments was a complete shock to everybody in the entire officiating community, even including the officials that were selected for that game.
Wow.
Some guys that are usually come from a division round or not even coming from division round, and some folks that are working the championship games that they're going to work the Super Bowl. So that's a whole different way of doing business, I guess, from New York. But
I'm
So
sure
the,
there's
we can
it,
get to all that.
I'm sure
so
there's
there,
backstories to that too.
Yeah,
and
one or four.
it's off script where the ones that were chosen, because you said like the 1 week they're gone, and then
Yeah,
it's the next round goes, those
yeah.
guys are eligible for the Super Bowl, and then it's out of kilter.
It's totally out. It's so out of kilter. It's completely out of whack. The crazy part about it is too. We'll roll our show here at 3:01, but we're okay in the green screen for a minute. But the backstory is that it's not a very experienced crew. The championship crew has the NFC Championship crew has 79 years total experience. The AFC Championship 80, the Super Bowl only 75. A couple of guys that are only in their third season, so that's going to be a heck of a deal. A couple good folks on that crew, but it's going to be interesting. All right, I got 3:01. Let's roll this puppy.
It's rolling.
Get her going.
F my
Game day, baby! Let's go!
Welcome everyone to NFL Nation Live, officially our Week 21 show. I think I've almost lost track at this point, but it's been a wild and crazy season, as everybody knows. Man, we're getting down to the final three games in the 2024 NFL season. So we'll review the divisional matchups from last week, a couple surprises or two, and we'll get you ready for the championship games this coming weekend to find out who's going to go to the Super Bowl. We got a lot to talk about, maybe even talk about some zebras. But before we get to all the craziness, 57, welcome to the show. What are your quick first thoughts, my friend?
Quick first thoughts is the Commodores are too hot to trot. They shocked the world with a knockout punch
No
that
kidding.
none of us saw coming.
Nobody. I don't.
Nobody.
The only people that saw that coming play for Washington, quite frankly.
Yes.
But
Yes.
all right, well, we got to wind this whole thing up because wasn't a lot of games, but there's a lot to talk about. So let me cue up my show here. So Cap's getting ready. I'm LAFD ready. I guess Wayne. I don't know. Are you clocked in, ready to go?
Clocked in, taped up for the championship run. Let's hit it.
Yeah.
Set! Hoot, hoot.
Welcome, everyone, to NFL Nation Live, our Week 21 show. Ref Guru, along with the Hall of Famer Wayne Violator Mabry, and everybody's favorite pirate, the legendary Captain Jack Rackham. Welcome to the show, everyone. We'll get the chat open here in just a second. But, guys, we had some divisional round games last week. Houston went into Kansas City. You know what? You got to play better, but, the refs can talk about not changing the outcome of that game. And you could argue that Houston probably should have and could have played better. But man, between the officials and some questionable calls and Houston's not making plays when they needed to, the Chiefs got the win at home.
Yeah, you wonder if, aside from the zebras, we'll get on that, but you wonder if just the pressure of that stage was a little bit too intense for them, because
It sort of felt like it.
I didn't see that same fire that they came out with the week before. And like you say, just the playing field was not level because of some officiating calls.
We're like 38 seconds into the show, and Edward's already in there to say, leave it to Mark Davis to F something up. We'll get to that. Good afternoon. Johnny and James, welcome to the show.
That's it.
New England Raider boosters, welcome to the
James,
show.
yeah.
Glad to have you. And
Jed
who else
Liam.
is in there? Yeah, Ed. Yeah, leave it to Ed. You know, guys, disappointed in the way the Texans played. I thought they were better than that. Should have been better than that. But some of the calls, man, weighing on this were just, I don't know how else to say it, batshit crazy, right? They had the hit on Mahomes. It wasn't even
What hit?
There was
What
yeah, it
hit?
wasn't even
Yeah.
roughing the
What hit?
quarterback. And then they give him a ballerina shove, and he takes a flop out of bounds. They get a flag for that. This is beyond messed up with regards to that. I mean, I guess we could have expected some of that from this crew, but Clete Blakeman and his crew going into this week's not going to be that much better. The Bills are going to have to play sharp. They're going to have to play mistake-free football. They're going to have to make their hits count, but man, they better watch their back.
And if it's a close game, that's where you better get scared.
Yeah.
Going back to this previous game we were discussing now, like you say, there were some questionable calls, a lot of flopping going on. And I watched Patrick on his championship Wednesday press conference, and he was asked that direct question.
Yeah.
And he kind of there was a look in his eye like, I dare you to ask me that question. And they just put it like, are you guys just relying on help from the officials to get these biased calls? And he was just, he had that corporate, deflective answer. We all just go out there and play as hard as we can, blah, blah, blah. It was all BS.
Bullshit.
But he basically didn't answer the question. But his eye, if he could have skewed the reporter that asked that question, they would have been sawed in half, man.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
hey,
it's really frustrating. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's the same effing mentality, and I am trying to watch. Trust me, I am trying to watch while I eat my food. It's the same BS that a certain prima donna quarterback that used to play for the Patriots had in his press conference immediately after a playoff game in snowy New England, and he goes to the podium, and they ask him about the call. You guys know what the call is.
We know the call.
And he has this kind of cheesy, impish grin on his face.
Yeah.
Saying, and I'm trying to, the mustache is getting in the way of the cheesy, the
smirk. Yeah.
Right. And he said, oh yeah. We knew it was a tough call because of the blah, 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 blah. Bull crap.
Yeah.
And I can hold myself. And the reason why I say that, if you watch the video of him trudging off the field, trudging off the field, with his head down.
Yeah, he knew it was a fumble.
He knew he effed up.
Yep.
And then for about whatever happened for whatever that point of time, probably a half an hour or so from him trudging off the field to him sitting behind the podium, lying his ass off, as Eddie Murphy would say. You were lying your ass off, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and
So for Mahomes to do that, and if he's looking like, oh, if I like the guy in, I can't remember, it's Scanners, where you put your head and you can make somebody's head blow up. That's probably
movie.
what he was trying to do. But you know what? For him to think at the audacity of saying, well, I am untouchable, it's getting to a point that it's not just Raider fans.
Yeah.
It's not just
Exactly.
Raider fans. It's everybody calling the BS flag on him and the team and everybody else. And that's why there are probably, I would say, 28 franchises or 29 or 30 franchises of the 32 around the world that are rooting for those bastards to lose this weekend, because we've all had enough of it. It's crap.
Well, and you know what? It's not going to stop, because Ed Hockley didn't get the AFC Championship. He got the NFC Championship game. So Clete Blakeman's crew, kind of more the same this week. I mean, it was a 50-50 crapshoot, but it didn't end well for Buffalo. They're just going to have to go in there and play smart football. The other thing that's frustrating about what you're saying, Cap, and I know Wayne, you agree with it, and keep the Raiders comments coming because we'll adjust Raiders stuff between the divisional games and the conference championship preview. But part of the frustration, Wayne, is when these flags come out, they seem to be at really inopportune times, right? Like the Chiefs will have, 3rd and 14 or something, and then there's a 15-yard penalty for something.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so bad at this point where even the announcers kind of tongue-in-cheek mention the same thing.
Well, and Aikman flat out called him out for it.
But then he reeled himself back in before he really said what he was feeling.
Well, and he probably said that because he and Joe Buck probably going to go back to Fox anyway. I don't think they like it much at ESPN, but he probably didn't care what he said.
but he just spoke as a competitor, and it just
absolutely.
And the cat was out of the bag for real. You remember? I think you and I were on X at that time with their whole X was blowing up with it.
Yeah,
fans from every team were on there saying this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we've heard all the meowing, and like you said, now the cats literally fell out of the bag on this one.
Oh yeah.
Well, here we are. The Chiefs get another a championship game at home, and here we go. Right. But the other number 1 seed that did not get it done was the Michigan Wildcats. Washington went in there and beat the Lions. You guys, this was a tough one for everybody in Detroit. It was a 14-point win for the Commodores. Again, this was a defense you guys that we said was problematic for the Lions, right? But they gave up 45 points. The offense just couldn't keep up. But again, among other things with regards to the way the Commanders played was Jeff Goff, the quarterback, getting blown up right on the return by Washington. There was no flag for that. Now there's some nuances there. We can get into the semantics of that if you want to, but let's talk about the game first. Boy, the Commodores just went in there and took it to them right from the get-go.
And like I say, they didn't see it coming. It was a right hook that they didn't. It was like a Tyson right hook. They didn't see it coming. But my hat goes off to Joe Witt, that defensive coordinator.
No kidding. They had their number, man.
I don't know what film Detroit had looked at before, but when these guys came out, they disguised everything like pre-snap. And Goff was seeing ghosts, as one other quarterback in history has said. I was seeing ghosts.
Yeah. And the throws that he thought were supposed to be there ended up getting picked off.
Yes, absolutely. But like I said,
frustrating game for the Lions.
Hats off to Joe Witt, first-year defensive coordinator. So I'm saying, why can't we find a guy like that to bring to our squad?
Yeah,
those guys, and they were kind of like a no-name defense. They had some old wily veterans in there who really stepped up and showed their leadership qualities. But overall, these guys were playing with their hair on fire. Goff looked as bad as I've seen him look in a while.
Yeah, exactly. They made him look awful from that standpoint. I'll tell you what, this is a Washington team that the Eagles better be ready to play. I mean, the Eagles have Hurts, they have Goddard, they have A.J. Brown, and they've got Barkley, and that's about it on offense. They've got a little bit more than that, but that's what Washington has to be ready for. They've played them twice already. And the Eagles defense is pretty solid. So I think Washington's going to have some trouble this week. But man, I'll tell you what, the Eagles, or whatever the mayor says they are up there, they need to be ready to play.
That's just, oh my God. It's like, lady, it's a good thing that you're already a mayor because you are not making it for anything else. What'd you say? ELG. It's like learn how to effing spell. That is why the United States has issues with education and kids and all that other stuff. You are the mayor of a top, 6 city in the United States as far as population, and you can't spell the team, that you can't even get the chant right. I'm not going to say anything political, but you know what?
It could be worse. She could be mayor of Detroit. Can't spell Lions.
Yeah, well, but then she probably screw up the enunciation.
Probably.
Here's a problem that I see coming up with the Eagles. Now they have weapons, true enough, but with Hurts being injured, that knee is not going to be. It'll be sore for sure.
Yeah,
his mobility is going to come into play because if they get after him like they did Goff,
Yeah.
is he going to be able to escape? And the Rams, remember we were talking about the Rams defensive front on the previous show.
Yeah.
They got after him
Yep.
relentlessly. So
They did.
now, if
And
they
that game was closer than it looked.
then yes, it
Yeah.
was close, very close, compact. But here's the deal: if they try to rely on just that running game, and Washington comes out and start putting up points in a hurry, then it becomes a shootout.
Yep, the Eagles are not set up for that. They double cover Brown. Goddard's not going to win it all by himself.
Absolutely.
Couple comments. DC showed that Ben Johnson is not the magician everybody thought he was, and that might very well be true.
Well,
I disagree with that.
Well, I didn't say it was true. I just said as I'm reading the comments, and also it says Wayne says to check your inbox when you have a chance. But I mean, if any Raiders fans out there wanted Johnson, you could say Brady's fumbled twice now. But anyway, we'll get to Raider stuff in a minute. But speaking of the Rams, they went into Philadelphia in the freezing ass cold, trying to represent a city that's basically half burned down at this point. I'm not a news reporter, so don't take that for fact. But the point is, they went in there, put on a good show, but the Eagles were home team for a reason, got the win. Now they're in the championship game at home because Detroit lost.
Oh yeah, and that, like I said, that game, like I said, the weather aside, it was a very close game.
Yeah. But it went like we said it would.
Brilliant play calling. I loved it. It's very entertaining. But like I say, I think that defense of Philly just wore down the Rams offense because they took pretty much Cooper Kupp out of the game.
Yep.
What was the other receiver?
Puka Nacua.
Nacua.
He dropped some passes he should have caught.
Yes.
Yeah, here's the thing. The Rams played better than Houston did, but both of those teams in their losses needed to make certain plays that they didn't make. And when you're on the road in division game, just ask Andrews, this is what happens. You got to make those plays when they come to you. And the Rams didn't get, the Houston had like 6 or 8. The Rams had 3 or 4, and the Baltimore Ravens had the 1. But, the Eagles now have the championship game at home because the Lions lost. And the Bills do not get the championship game at home because the Chiefs won, but the Ravens went into Buffalo to take on the Bills in the divisional round.
And the Zebras.
Yeah, and the Zebras.
Right.
But, I don't know if you guys in the intro, if you guys saw my dead bird poster.
I did, I saw that. Cool. Yeah.
But anyway,
I was beating my face. I apologize.
Oh man, you have to go back and check it out. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Anyway, but here's the thing, Wayne, with the Ravens. Okay, is a 2-point loss. If they just kicked the damn extra point instead of going for 2, the game would have been tied. Now I realize Buffalo would have had a minute some left, and could have done something with that. But they lost this game because they had to go for 2, and they didn't have to go for 2. They could have gone for 1 each.
That's one that's going to come back and really. I'm sure they talked about it in their exit meeting, but
they didn't talk about it on Tuesday.
I'm saying the same thing. Just get the extra point and keep playing ball.
You're on the road. Take the points, man.
And here's the irony of it. The tight end that had fumbled that pass, beautiful pass, but he got it knocked out basically. I think that bothered his confidence. That may have been in his head still.
Could have been.
Beautiful pass to him.
Yeah. It was a little low, but it was catchable.
But it was catchable. But already going in the end zone, all they do is hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
Game would have been tied. So you take those chances, but they can come back and bite you in the ass.
Well, and that's why you're not in the championship game, right?
Yes.
I think the perfect analogy for Mark Andrews, and I will get. I always give credit when I can give credit. Black Nano, Sharisa Alakan mentioned the great Jackie Smith.
Yep, Super Bowl 13.
The guy who is a Hall of Famer.
Played for the Cardinals.
For the Cardinals through most of his life. Then he finally goes over to the Cowboys to get into a Super Bowl.
Gets there, drops the touchdown.
Gets there. And if you say Jackie Smith, you don't think great tight end who played for the Cardinals. You think Dallas Cowboys tight end who dropped the friggin' ball.
In the end zone.
In the end zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what Mark Andrews is going to be remembered. I think it's Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews. He'll be remembered for that.
Is the fact that he dropped that 2-pointer And then he had the other issue. He had and I must have been, because he did two things. Say, well, you can solely blame him. I'm like, no, but he
No.
definitely was instrumental in it. I mean, at the beginning of the game, the fact that Jackson gave up points with the
Yes.
fumble and
Yeah.
the interception,
Yeah.
he was instrumental in setting them up.
Yeah.
But Andrews was responsible for what, 3 points, or maybe at least the 2 points that he couldn't have. So was it instrumental? I mean, score wise, yeah, but like you said, Lamar gave them some points too on his turnovers. So it's as I say, because have we gotten into the officiating yet?
Not yet.
Go ahead.
Not yet.
Now's
Not
okay.
yet.
time than
We're
right now.
close.
Okay. The officiating issue that I have is, and going back to like the Houston getting jobbed, okay, is it's not just the officiating that screws you, because again, the Texans screwed themselves by having a sieve of an offensive line when they needed to have the good protection.
Yep.
It's when you put all of the things together, it's a flowing game. The officials screw up and your team screws up, and then the officials screw up again, and the officials give the Kansas City Chiefs a first down when it's 3rd and long, and they're getting off the field. It's all of that together. So they're saying, well, it wasn't just the officials. If Houston had done this, that, and the other thing, yeah, but it's all of the things together at the timing of when it happens.
Yep.
And then you also throw in that it's the team has the crap factor. I cleaned it up.
Yeah.
You
I
get
beat
them
you.
off the field, and it's a drop. It's like when the Raiders had the tuck rule thing, they mentally just dropped for about 5 minutes. It took them 5 minutes to get back to the game.
Absolutely.
It's the officiating with the way that the team is playing, all of that together. So that's why I'm saying, Andrews screwed up and Jackson screwed up, and the officials effed the Texans, and the Texans had a leaky offensive line. But you put it all together, that is why it's not just the officials, but it's the officials playing a part, not with just the way the penalties are, but the
timing,
the mentality.
Well, and that's the point, Cap, is because the officials are smart enough to know when those penalties are needed. Right?
Yes.
They're not just throwing flags. It's I've decided I need a flag, against the Texans. No, they know very much the situation and what's at stake here, right? So they know they're looking extra hard for anything they can find when they get into a situation where they're like, okay, a penalty now, would really help so and so or hurt so and so. They know that. They absolutely know that.
Yes,
they absolutely know that.
It affects momentum, and like Cap said, it
morale.
Affects the morale of the team.
Yep.
And that's the major part of the game when you've got competitors that are so evenly matched. All it takes is a little bit here and there just to teeter that thing.
That's right.
And you see it playing out. The cameras are live.
Fumbles, a perfect example of that, right?
Man.
In the AFC Championship game in '77, the same with Brady's fumble in 2001. It was just the one play, but it was all that mattered. So, it's interesting. Daniel's got a good point. Andrews did drop the ball. It doesn't justify any negativity because this is just a game. Don't tell some folks that are too overly serious about that. But in true Bills Mafia fashion, didn't they donate a whole bunch of money to Andrews' charity?
Hats off to the Bills Mafia. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that
Class act right there.
That was either a thank you or a good sportsmanship gesture. It could be one, either or both of those, but either way.
But they did a good deed behind it. So
they did it. Regardless of the intent. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna close the books on the divisional round. We're going to get into the conference championship games. We got a little bit of time, so we might as well talk Raiders. What's the news? Who wants to go first? What's the news coming out of Las Vegas in the last week or even in the last hour?
Last few hours, we just hired our GM, John Spytek from the Bucks.
Is that good?
The fake Pirates.
The fake Pirates, okay.
Yeah. Get it right. Come on, Wayne. I taught you better than that.
You got it. You got it. Yeah, from the other Pirates. Yeah,
He's not wearing a hat, Wayne. It doesn't count.
gotcha.
You got to wear your fake pirate hat.
So,
Hey, don't tempt me. I'll go get it. And you'll see my ass.
so there is one piece of that puzzle that's been put together. So it still remains who's going to be the HC / offensive coordinator and DC. But I'm hoping that they retained Robbie Leonard for that position, but we don't know now.
So was this Ben Johnson stuff out of Detroit? Just a lot of chitter chatter. What happened there? There was a lot of chatter about him being the next head coach, and now he's with the Bears.
Yeah, you got some, Wayne? Because I actually have somebody that has the source.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say I'll take a lot of that stuff that we hear with a grain of salt because it's just chatter. I think this guy made his decision based on relocating his family for one. And I heard that from a source. His wife did not want to go to Vegas, because of the atmosphere.
I don't.
And
with
the young kids that they have.
Yeah.
And also, we don't have a bona fide quarterback in place. He just got beaten by Jaden Daniels. So here's Caleb Williams sitting over there in Chicago, close proximity to where they are now. So it's kind of like an easy decision. And did he use us as leverage for that or not? We won't know.
So Daniel said, hold on, Cap. I want to come to you, but Daniel says he wants Todd Monken from Baltimore as head coach because he worked with Spytek and Bowers. When did he work with Spytek?
Well, I don't know about him working with Spytek, but Monken was the offense coordinator down at Georgia, so he definitely knows how to take care of Bowers.
Yeah, definitely so. So wouldn't be mad at that myself.
Right.
Well,
now,
if we worked with Spytek, then that kind of sounds like something going on. There's some Twitter chatter about Gruden also. What's going on there?
I've heard that name a couple of times come up recently, and more loudly now than ever.
Now,
like I say, we don't even know. Like I say, what the brain trust in the front office has in mind with their new vision, we don't know.
Yeah,
but like I say, Coach Carroll is still out there. I know he has a huge Rolodex over the years.
Yeah.
So if all he needs to do is be the CEO, head coach, get an OC that he's familiar with, let's run this thing.
Yeah, it feels weird to have a GM though. I got to tell you.
Well, clap, and that's not a golf clap. That is a real clap because that's something that has been needed for God. I don't think we ever have had one other than Ron Wolf.
Oh yeah, he was great.
I'll give Ron Wolf
he was player personnel director.
Yeah, but okay, there you go. He whatever his title was, he was acting as the real GM.
Yeah.
Under Al.
Yeah.
Okay. And we haven't had a real GM ever. Yeah. Because you want to Reggie McKenzie was a stats guy and a numbers guy. It was great at doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give him that because he unfudged our cap to a point where we can actually afford some people, and he's supposed to be player personnel, but And then you got the guy that Gruden came in with over on ESPN, who definitely wasn't a GM. Then you have the guy that came in with and I won't say his name out of homage to Jack Kenna, but it's McShit. Ooh, I'm sorry. I was supposed to get the other one. I was supposed to hold.
Just put it out there, Cap.
It's out there. He calls him McShit nuts. I'm sorry, and I was trying to bleep myself on the S word. Seriously, I was like, oh my God, that was the wrong one to bleep. But
don't bite your tongue, man. Don't bite your tongue.
But that guy, with his guy, from John Carroll University, okay, and then the only kind of real GM that we had, Telesco actually had qualifications.
Yes.
So we see what happens, but now we finally have a GM in place whose job it is to work with ownership to find the head coach. Yeah. And I don't think that is in the 60-year history of the Raiders. I don't think that's ever had, at least post from Al Davis being in there from 63 on.
Yeah.
It's never happened.
Right.
Never happened.
Yeah.
So
It's-
we're getting into what we really need to be. We have a
and
GM
it's-
that's going to work and get the head coach,
Get
and the
the
head
head
coach is going
coach.
to get the staff.
It's kind of nice to see the top working together for
Yes.
once, and there's some synergy right there, between Tom and Spytek. So chemistry is what they're after, and from what I've heard from sources, there the chemistry was off last year.
Yeah.
So
A lot of
and
things were off. Yeah.
well, I'm just saying the chemistry part was off. There was a tug
Yeah.
power struggle. I call it power
And
struggle.
Daniel's got a good point when you look at his comment there about
3 drafts. Yeah.
how the Bucks have drafted and how you win games up front. Bish says bring in Sanders. I don't think that works with the Spytek, but the problem with Sanders is he wants to bring in his son as quarterback, and that's just two people going in the wrong direction. I think. I think they got to go somewhere else. They got to go somewhere flashy. If they want to go, to Dallas, New York, something like that. Excuse me, New Jersey, but not Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well, no, that he does want flashy, and he wants Vegas, but Vegas should. And I'm sorry, if I can have Shador and he's rated right now as kind of like a late first round, second round talent.
Second, yeah.
Okay, if you can get him in round 2, and you're not, and again, my boy is Jackson Dart. I want Jackson Dart in round 2 if I'm going to do that.
Oh,
But
you watching Ole Miss too. Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
well, I'll do that. But if you're gonna rate Shador in what he really can do, draft wise, get him in the second round. If Jackson Dart's off the board, okay, that's it. But I still want Jackson Dart. I don't want Shador. But if you get Shador in the second round, then you're picking quality at where he should be. I don't want anything to do with his dad. And it's one of those LaMelo, whatever the hell the guy's name was, ball. I got my son with me, and he tucks him under his arm, kind of like carries him around like a purse, okay? And you get
That's some heavy duty bling there.
you get the son, but you get the dad. And you know what? I take Shiloh Sanders as a hard hitting safety 8 days a week. 8 days a week.
would too.
I take Shiloh, and I
I
think
would
he's
too.
probably going to be a better product.
Oh,
If
I
you get
totally agree
Shador
with you.
Round 2, great. I don't want anything to do with his dad. Great,
Yeah.
and it's not a Florida State thing. Dion is great for what he does. I just don't like all the things that go with it.
Yeah, there's some baggage there. Yeah.
Right, and I'm going to go back to, and I apologize. I'm on. I get my food rush. So this is food rush.
Okay.
Bring it.
What I heard is I have a dude who has a source. So this is like third level. Okay, I got a dude who has a source.
You and Taylor Swift.
Well, I'm just waiting for her album to drop when she breaks up with Travis Kelce, because that's all this is. It's I dated Travis Kelce, and here's my album.
All my exes live in Kansas City.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, actually, have you seen all her exes?
No, I don't.
Laundry list. But anyway,
I don't follow Taylor Swift.
well, look it up. It's on IG.
I'll get right on that.
Anyway, I got a dude who has a source, and that is correct. My dude's source said that the reason why Ben Johnson forwent the Raiders, or said, well, it's one reason, and it wasn't because we don't have a running game. It wasn't because we don't have a quarterback. It wasn't because of Tom Brady, because Tom Brady's the reason why he even took the interview.
Right.
The only reason why he said no was there's a particular, let's say it, haircut impaired individual who runs the franchise.
Well, who is that? Never mind.
I can't. Yeah, show your surprise face. That's good. I like that. I like that because I do it all the time. Yours was well.
Yeah, his is good.
Mark fucking Davis, and that's the reason why. Yeah, the wife didn't want to move the kids, and they didn't want the environment and happy wife, happy life type of thing. But he didn't want to work for the white-haired mop head. Bottom line.
All right.
Bottom line.
All right. Well,
again, I got a dude who has a source.
that's fine. Yeah, and it's probably true. If you don't have a steak and Supercuts, you're probably, or what's that place that eats that? Fang Mao's? What is it?
It's P.F.
Chung Ching's. What is
No,
that?
P.F. Chang's the one that I remember when I had the show with you guys and I couldn't get
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi working because I was at
Yeah.
Mark Davis's P.F. Chang's
Oh,
on the
P.F.
strip.
Chang's. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I knew
P.F.
it was something like that.
It's P.F. Chang's and Hooters. If you got investors with P.F. Chang's and Hooters, and you know Mark, you're in very good company.
I heard the wings are good.
I saw somebody said something about Abdul Carter down there, and that's a kid that I'm keeping an eye on too, man.
We can get him at 6 if he drops.
Right,
If he
right.
comes to
Says-
6, pick
If
him
he-
up. Run to the podium.
Yeah.
Daniel says, "How about Joe Brady as our head coach?" Who's Joe Brady?
Now his name came up too. He's the OC for. Let me get it right now.
Yeah, he's a
Buffalo.
He's a vaunted OC.
Yes, yes, for Buffalo. And I heard his name come up a couple of days ago. That's why we may be having this little love right here. Because you look at it, the candidates are going off. Aaron Glenn just signed with the Jets.
I like
He's off the
Monken
board.
better. You know, anybody in Buffalo as your OC is going to look good when Josh Allen is your quarterback, for crying out loud. I mean,
Yeah, he's got
everybody
a lot to
thought
work
Bobby
with right
Knight was
there.
the great coach, and he was. But look at the teams, the guys, the talent that he had on his basketball teams. I mean, damn, you know. Same with North Carolina. Okay. He needs to go ahead and sell the team entirely. Well, that's probably going to happen at some point.
Let me guess.
James
Ed
says it's
said
a
that,
rug
right?
cap. I
can't
would
see the
agree with that.
comments. I can't see the comment. I said, I bet you Ed said that.
No, that's Bishop
Yeah.
AJ.
Yeah, it says
All hail and praise the bishop. Yeah,
how about the
that's
DC? How about the DC from the Ravens as our head coach? Why not? Well, who is that?
Who is the Ravens DC?
I'm trying to think
Who
myself.
is that, James? A lot of Jet fans don't like their new coach. Who is their new coach?
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn.
What?
Aaron Glenn, he signed today.
Come on, are you serious?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to the Saints, but he signed with the Jets. They didn't let him out the building.
Well, I tell you what, if you're gonna have a former DC,
The Jets,
take-
man,
I'll take
shit up
Brian
since
Flores.
1969.
Give me Brian Flores. Give me Robert Saleh. Give me Pete Carroll. If
There's
you're
a
gonna
whole
go that way.
people on that list ahead of that guy.
Yeah. I said, but yeah, and in order: Pete Carroll, Robert Saleh, Brian Flores. DCs that have had the experience and can work with teams.
Oh, yeah.
And are can do stuff. I mean,
I'm not
Robert
a Saleh fan.
well, Robert Saleh, if he let's put it this way, if Robert Saleh does not get picked up for a head coaching position, I run with as many prostitutes and cocaine and pimps and whores and an entourage over to his house
Pink
and
Cadillac.
say, BRDC. Okay.
Now here's a nugget. Him and Pete Carroll have a working relationship already.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
So
Please, no. All right.
As DC, dude, as DC, not as head coach.
No.
His teams in San Francisco.
I don't want Pete Carroll.
No, but like I say, if you get Pete Carroll is like the what was it that the former I can say former president now. Former president said, "Oh, I'm just a transitionary person to the next generation."
I think that's what it would be, like a bridge
We don't
for
need
a few
that.
years.
Yes,
but-
you do. Yes, you do, boss.
No.
You want somebody who has. Oh, let me see. What's on his resume? Oh, well, other than Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer, he's the only person in football. that
And he
has
didn't
won-
give Marshawn Lynch football in the Super Bowl.
Hey, that was his OC's fault.
Bullshit. Calling bullshit on that.
I see
Ed-
Byron Leftwich too. Yes, that's another
I do
name
not
floating
want
around.
Pete Carroll. Nothing wrong against Pete Carroll personally. I do not need a gum chewing rah on the sidelines over there. Just that's not how we roll, man.
What does Pete Carroll have that you've already identified? He's got a Rolodex.
Yeah.
He's
He's
got
I got a
people-
Rolodex too. They're not. My phone's not ringing.
Yeah, no. He's got a Rolodex of competent, qualified coaches that will come in here, and within a year, and I say a year, between the draft and the scheme.
No,
The
because
scam.
we're just gonna get Wilson from Pittsburgh and do this whole
No,
nonsense.
Oh,
right?
no.
Oh yes, we will.
We're gonna get
Oh
Fields.
yes, we will.
I heard that he's staying in Pittsburgh. I
Yeah.
saw that
No,
today.
he's not, because he's staying in Pittsburgh because Pete Carroll's not the coach in Las Vegas.
No, if we get anybody from Pittsburgh, I'll take Justin Fields.
It'll be Fields if we
No.
do.
No, it's gonna be Russell. You guys, whatever.
Nah, I don't think Russell.
I'll put some money on that helmet collection that we would take Fields over Wilson.
I think we would.
If Pete Carroll's the head coach, he's
No.
not taking Fields.
It depends upon who his OC is.
Well, yeah,
True.
but
And that's why the whole quarterback thing to me hinges on who the OC is, because there's
Yeah.
a scheme
yeah,
that they want a certain type of
yeah,
quarterback.
agreed on with that.
So
And we got a GM that's actually going to work with the head coach, who's actually going to work with who the OC and DC are, the way
Yeah.
it should be for eons. And we're finally going to do
So
it the right way.
So let me ask you this, because we can agree to disagree, and that's okay. Well, let me ask you this: Brian Leftwich has had great success at Tampa Bay, did he not?
yeah,
Yeah,
he was
so-
successful.
Not,
Yeah.
not as well as Liam Cohen did, but Liam Cohen went back to Tampa Bay today.
Yeah, but does Spytech work with Leftwich at all? Maybe there's a Brian Leftwich in this equation somewhere.
It could be.
I take that in a minute.
It could be. Like
As
I
what?
say, his-
OC or
as
head coach?
OC. As
As
OC.
OC.
Yeah.
As OC.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he has a gig right now.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He was gonna be. He interviewed for Jacksonville, but because of what was the guy that they just fired him
Balky.
today?
And bye
Trent
bye
Baalke.
Balky. That's the
Yeah.
reason
So-
that bastard is on his
He
his ass.
didn't want to work
Nobody
with
wants to
Balky.
work with him, and they said,
Yeah.
"You want me to be your head coach?" I'm sure and again, not that I can speak to it, but just common sense says everybody that they interviewed said, "I got to work with that guy."
Not
No,
happening.
Yeah,
and that's the reason why he was finally fired today.
and I'm not asking in terms of the context for the Raiders. I'm just asking in football in general. Has Bieniemy fallen off of everybody's list at this point?
I think me personally, I just think he's got that 8-ball effect, and nobody wants to touch him for a head coach, especially.
Yeah,
Now, OC, he could still come up. He can still call plays like a genius. But
well, I mean, if you're going to throw that group, I mean, you've got Hugh Jackson out there. You've got a whole
He's
bunch
still-
of other people out there that could still.
Well,
maybe be bringing-
He was the head coach at an HBCU.
I think he is, yeah.
So
I
let
think
me.
Hugh is.
So do you think there's any chance Wade Phillips comes in as a DC?
Wow.
That's a name I haven't even.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean,
really.
everywhere he goes, he does a good job. We're probably going to be switching to a 3-4, which causes a lot of problems
How do you know
for Crosby. But
how
I
do
mean,
know
if you
what-
got a nose tackle that can play, Howie Long will tell you that you don't have to have 4 guys up front. But
Well, I want to hear why we will probably be switching to a 3-4. Where are you hearing that?
well,
from?
if Wade Phillips comes in as head coach, that's what he runs.
Yeah, he runs that,
Wade Phillips is head coach.
Oh no, I don't want him as head coach.
Oh no, I'm married.
but I just meant as defensive
As
coordinator.
DC,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bishop
But,
says, why
if he
not?
comes- If he comes in as a DC, then yeah, guess what? We'll be running a 3-4.
I see
Yeah.
2 remarks here. I'll take Tomlin as head coach, and I heard rumors of him being ousted out, but that's not. Don't quote me on it. And then also Kingsbury, I think he's got a nice position there.
No,
I don't think
Kingsbury-
he'll leave.
Kingsbury is sitting pretty
I
with.
think he's
Jaden
sitting
Daniels.
pretty right there.
Yeah, and he'll ride the coattails of what Jaden will bring him.
Yes.
And again, hopefully Jaden Daniels will not have the necessary sophomore slump.
Sophomore slump, yeah.
I don't think he will. I think he's actually going to just keep going up. Hell, when you got somebody like the Mr.
He's in the
Irrelevant,
championship game. Yeah,
right?
I agree.
Mr. Irrelevant from the Niners, what's his nose?
Yeah.
That had a decent rookie season, and then
A sophomore slump. Yeah.
sophomore. But if he can actually he did, but not really. I mean,
Yeah,
the whole team effed up on that one.
yeah.
But he played relatively well.
Yeah.
He played relatively well.
Game manager, I call him.
Yeah.
Pretty much a great game manager.
All right.
So-
Well, it'll be interesting to see how things play out. We'll see if we can keep track of what's going on in Las Vegas and Washington. The conference championships games are coming up this week, and we've got an interesting one The league game is the NFC Championship game, 12 p.m. on Fox, 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Washington are going to go into Philadelphia. These are two teams that know each other very, very well. Obviously played twice during the regular season. Washington may be a little bit healthier. Philadelphia's playing at home. Weather may or may not be a factor. Officiating may or may not be a factor. But Ed Hockley is going to take his, split crew, if you will, into that game and see what happens. But you guys like the Eagles at home, or do you think the Commanders can pull off another upset on the road?
I'm going to take the Eagles in a close one because of home field and the weather.
Yeah.
Oh, Champ Kelly, somebody says here. I think Champ is still the assistant GM right now, as far as I've heard. He's still there in the office.
I hope because this team, as far as personnel wise, and thank you for whoever asked that.
That was Daniel. Yeah.
Okay. This team instrumentally is a Champ Kelly fortified personnel wise team helping out with everybody. Okay. And we would, I tell you what, Kelly knew more than the GM that McShitnuts brought in, and he definitely helped out Telesco in his draft analysis. This team wouldn't be as fortified as they are personnel-wise. We got good personnel. We just haven't had good implementation coaching-wise and the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we got people.
Yeah, Champ is a great personnel. He's got an eye for talent, so great guy to keep in the office. I hope he stays there.
I hope he stays. Again, I don't see the comments, so I apologize.
Well, Bish says he'd love to see an old linebacker come and coach our defense. Pick up Khalil Mack on the cheap, man. Let him come in and be a player coach.
The only way I'm going to wear my jerseys again is if he comes in a la Woodson, where I can wear them again, or when he retires. And I am not wearing my Mac jerseys until he's either a Raider going out the door or retires. So I got some great Mac jerseys, the nice ones. But I won't wear them until
Really? Wow.
No.
Well,
no. Anybody that wears a Mac jersey or a Carr jersey or a Waller jersey or pick a name, when they're not on the team, is somebody that doesn't get it.
But I don't disagree with you.
Or can't afford the new jerseys.
Well, that's the thing. But here's the other thing too. It's like, once a Raider, always a Raider. But I mean, Tim Brown played for a year in Tampa Bay. Jerry Rice played, for the 49ers. So a little bit of a double standard there, or no?
No.
Okay.
It's me. Okay, maybe I'm effed up.
No, I'm just saying. I don't disagree with you. I just think that if you're once a Raider, always a Raider.
But you don't wear anybody that's currently in the NFL.
Oh, I agree with you on that front.
Especially with how they left. Okay?
I agree with you on that front because Tim Brown retired as a Raider.
Some name tape so I can make my Cooper a Bowers, and I bet it's a lot more economical to change a Cooper jersey to a Bowers jersey. I just got to find.
I agree with you on that front. The officiating crew in the championship game, Mike Morton is the umpire. He will also be going to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks as the umpire. He's a former player and will be the first former player to work a Super Bowl, as an official. So that's pretty cool. Interesting. Is anybody else from that crew going to the Super Bowl, Phil?
I don't recall Mike Morton.
Mike Morton. Yeah, he's a linebacker, I think.
Okay.
Maybe for Bills or Giants or somebody like that.
Matt in the comments says, Robbie Leonard might be out DC. That would be nice to keep him there. He's familiar with the players. They love him. And like I say, he did wonders for Chason's career, bringing him in, and that guy's really blossomed.
So I want to play for Denver. Okay. All right. So, Cap, were you on the board for Washington or Philadelphia, or did I miss it?
Yeah, you missed it. Man, that's hard.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Philly in a squeak fart.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a close one, man.
Because
I don't see Lightning striking twice. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I'll take the offensive line of Philly again. And now again, the Commanders got decent defense,
Oh, yeah.
but I'll take the O line of Philly and the O line or the D line of Philly together. You got guys that are hurting at the skill positions, but if you like I said, you got the big guys, the big uglies working for you. I'll take those big guys in Philly at home, especially if it's a weather game. You got Saquon who can do
Yeah.
weather. I don't even know who the hell the running back is for the Commanders.
Eckler.
I
Isn't
don't
it Eckler?
Yes, Eckler. Yes, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. But Eckler is more of
Scat back.
a gadget running back.
Yeah, he's not your Derrick Henry workhorse, Sean
Home run hitter,
Barkley
yeah.
workhorse.
Per
Yeah, I
se,
mean
yeah.
he's not going to run the ball and run the clock from that standpoint. Interesting. During the regular season, Washington lost their game at Philadelphia by 8, and when they played Philadelphia at home, they beat them by 3 points. So
Yeah, no, it was
bo-
tight.
both games were tight.
That's a
So
great
the whole
matchup.
the home team, was winning that matchup. I'll give the slight edge to the Eagles. They can run the ball, run the clock. I think the Washington Commanders will have a great scheme. I think it'll frustrate the Eagles all day. But in a conference championship game, I think nerves and turnovers might be a factor if the Commanders can't hold it together. I like the Eagles 23-20 over the
I like that score.
Commodores.
Yeah. I don't think.
Hey, just
yeah.
win, baby. I never do spreads.
Yeah.
No, I don't either.
believe I
I'm not a huge on that either. But if
Speaking
you
of-
are, it's kind of interesting. The Chiefs took the safety when they were.
Speaking of that, yes. And the commentators made a comment about that. See,
You think?
it covered the spread, that 9.5 point
Yep.
spread. That
Yep.
safety was to cover that spread. So there's something to that point spread. All you guys, I'm not a bettor, not a gambler like that, but it's just food
and we're
for
certainly
thought.
not conspiracy theorists here.
No, never, never.
By taking the safety, it was the points over
Yes.
and under, right? That's
Yes.
what it was?
Yes, they made the point spread.
Okay.
So I've heard that's very important to Vegas.
Oh,
So,
there's no
Yeah,
doubt.
total-
It's important to everything,
Yeah.
including.
Total point.
Johnny says, whoever comes in needs to understand the Raider Nation fans. Now,
Good luck with that.
good luck with that because winning.
No,
We're
they've
trying-
been in Vegas for so long they don't even remember what it is to be a Raiders fan. I mean, if this was
We're
Oakland,
trying.
I'd be
We're
all
trying to
for it.
teach them. We're trying to teach them.
I know.
Wayne
We're
and
trying to
I do primers, and that is the correct way to say it, by the way. People that say I'm going to give you a primer on something, unless they're talking paint, it's wrong. It's one of these things that bug me.
Good to know.
Wayne and I give primers on what is the do's and don'ts of being a Raider fan, and the thing, so if they get the culture, that's great. But you got a dude that is a minority owner, name not stated, from another certain franchise, so that even they don't know the
Us.
Raider
Right.
mentality. But I will say
They know how to
this.
deflate balls.
Oh, and if they can do anything, and I'm also talking Mr. Richard Seymour, okay, with that, if they could do anything to make this team better, I'll be happy as a Raiders fan, and I will definitely turn the other cheek, kind of biblically, on the prima donna minority owner if he can do something positive with this franchise.
Yeah.
The fact that he got in Ben Johnson does
That
speak
speaks
volumes.
definitely.
Speak volumes, because Ben Johnson was not even when he said, "I'm going to take an interview with this, that, and the other," and we weren't
On the
even
list. Weren't even on the list.
thought.
Yeah.
But he came and he did the, granted it was a video interview. He could have said, F you. But he did.
Professional
But he didn't.
courtesy.
He did
Professional
that.
courtesy.
Yeah. So I'll say that as long as Prima Donna Boy can do things to help out, and I'm sure there's going to be somebody that if they ever say, "Hey Tom, do you ever watch that old pirate dude just talk his ass off about you?" I'm sure I'm not on his Christmas card list.
Probably not.
But hey, I'd love to talk to him.
I love that.
Romanowski, there's the name.
One of
I saw that too. Yeah. What is he doing, man? Bring him back and put him on staff.
Yeah, he won
There would
linebackers.
definitely be
He's
some
You want
attitude.
linebackers, coach, man. That's
Yeah,
everybody's gonna fall in line.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Singletary was a linebacker with an FU mentality, and he bombed the
Yeah,
coach.
as a head
So
coach.
be careful what
No,
you
I
wish
get it.
for.
All right. The Buffalo Bills are going to
Yeah,
go
man.
into Kansas City and take on Kermit and the Chiefs.
No, you
I
had
said
it
it
right.
right the first time.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kermit or the refs?
Both.
Okay, good.
You both.
Yeah,
Or
Bills
how
are
they
going to
say
have
in New York, the both of them. Yes.
got it.
Yeah.
The Bills are going to have to play a
Both-
perfect game, score more points, turn the ball over, manage the clock, keep the Chiefs offense, and 87 off the
Yes.
damn field. I don't know. I don't understand
Wow,
how teams
where's he been?
single-handedly
I
get
tell
beat.
you
You
what.
talk about Mahomes all you want. It's Kelsey that's
No,
beating you
no.
because they let down the middle open the whole
The whole
game.
game. The whole
Cover
game.
the
I thought I was watching a highlight reel of Kelsey against the Raiders because every time I looked and the entire middle of the field was wide
Yeah.
open, and he's
Yeah.
I don't know how he does.
I don't either.
I
How
really
does
don't
how does
know.
how does
I
an
don't know
old
how he does.
dinosaur run down the middle and fake out all these kids that are playing ball that are 20 years younger than him? I don't get it. It's the same problem they had with Gronkowski in New England.
To me, it's a
like-
knock on the DCs
It's like
because they all just
they can't
ignore
take
them.
away the one player that's going
Yeah.
to beat you.
Yeah.
And the wide receivers aren't shabby. I mean, it's not like even if they did take away Kelsey, the wide receivers can't make a catch. You've got some guys that can catch the ball. That's what makes Mahomes
Well,
dangerous if they take Kelsey
let
out.
them
But
beat
still,
Let them beat you. I was going to say, if I'm the DC, you just said it yourself. If I'm the DC, hey, see that guy wearing number 87? Make sure that he's got coverage. If you see that there is a sliver of space between, go
Close
cover
the
the
gap.
son of a
Because
bitch.
that's his comfort blanket
Yeah.
is 87.
Well,
Everybody should know that.
Yeah.
somebody's going to have a safety that can remind Mr. Kelsey that if you're going to come over the middle, you might end up like Sammy White. So I'm just saying they're going to have to figure that out. But the Bills window, is still open for a little bit. But yeah, it might be
Small.
It might be halfway. The question is it halfway open or halfway closed? That's the 3:30 game on CBS, 6:30 East Coast on CBS. Cleet Blakeman and that crew. If I'm Buffalo,
the
man,
number?
you better just yes sir, yes ma'am,
Mistake free, no chippiness.
no
nothing.
chippiness,
There-
walk
there-
away,
there-
don't blink.
There's a website. Where's a website? That's why I asked you. I said, what is Kansas City's record when Blake? I know it's a split crew. I understand that kind of takes things away. But personally, the white hat runs the show with his buddy, and then you got the guys that are. But he's the one that sets the
Yes.
mentality.
Oh, for the whole
Okay.
crew, there's no doubt.
Sets the tone.
That's why I asked what, and there is a website somewhere, and I wasn't able to find it. They give the name of the white hat, and they have a strip of what the teams are and what the team's record are when that guy is officiating.
I
That's
have to
what I
look.
want.
I think it's 4 and 5. I know it's not a winning record with Cleet Blakeman, but it's close to 500.
Wow.
Well, at least it's not
6-0.
the Martin. Yeah. Thank you.
I want to say it's like
Martin?
3 and 5, 4 and 5, something like that.
I like to comment. This is knockout Kelsey. Thank you, Matt. My thing is they let him release off the line of scrimmage and nobody jams him ever. That's what I can't get. Why?
Yeah.
Put hands on that cat to knock his timing off. Maybe knock him on his rear. I'll keep it clean.
Yeah.
Maybe knock him on his rear and knock the timing off, because most of the time when Mahomes drops back, that's who he's looking for.
Yes,
looking
his-
for him.
probably his first read, if not first, second. Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem I have is that Jeff Siemens is the line judge over on one side. He's going to let 74 false start the whole day.
The whole game? Oh,
The whole
okay.
fucking day.
You see that too, huh?
Well, they're going to switch sides at halftime, so it's going to be
so it'll be the first
he's the
half.
line judge, so it'll be
On the second half.
74 is the left tackle. Well, it depends on which way they're going on the field, right? He's going to have 50% of the time on either side, but yeah, he's going to let that go the whole damn day. I wouldn't say the crew is favorable to the Bills at all. I would have rather had Sean Hockley's crew in Kansas City. I'd have felt much more comfortable about a fairly officiated game there. Not crazy about the Kansas City crew. Could have been worse, but it is what it is. I'm going to take the Bills because I just think they're pissed off. Of course, I took the Lions last week because I said all year that they've been pissed off. Early in the beginning of the season, I picked Baltimore, Philadelphia to be in the Super Bowl. I may not even get 50% of that right. I know I'm not going to get the other 50% right. But I'm gonna take the Bills on the road. I just think the Chiefs aren't going to get it done. I think even with the refs' help, the Bills just going to make more plays.
I hope, and I think one of the reasons why the Lions didn't play up to their part, and people call me wrong, but I think that the dissension or the fact that both of their coordinators were up for jobs did more to that
distraction.
People are talking.
I totally agree. Bill Belichick said the same thing, Cap, that doesn't like the rule that coaches can interview even remotely with other teams when they're trying to prepare for the biggest playoff games of their lives up to that date. And I just think it's messed up. I think that I guess if you're out of the playoffs, you can have interviews, but that's not fair to the coaches that are still in the playoffs. But maybe they should just have a no tampering rule with coaches or something. I don't know. But it's messed up. I don't know how you fix it, but it's messed up. We do know who the Super Bowl crew will be in 2 weeks. Ron Torbert will be the referee. Mike Morton.
Yeah, our buddy Ron. Yeah,
Ron Torbert. Mike Morton will be the umpire. Mike is only in his third season. He's working. Remember the conference championship game in Philadelphia, and then he's going to go to the Super Bowl. Down judge Max Causey, also a 3-year official. Line judge Mark Stewart, a 7-year official. Merle Robinson, 8-year official. Merle's the deeps in the Super Bowl. I don't know if it's not the best of the best, in my opinion, but Merle Robinson, Boris Cheek, and Jonah Monroe, that's a pretty damn good deep crew back there. Again, I don't know if it's the best of the best if I were to pick my favorites, but I know Merle I know Merle personally, and he's a good field judge. He sees a lot. He knows what he's supposed to be looking at, what he's supposed to be covering. He knows the rules. He's good. Boris Cheek is getting his farewell send-off, if you will. He's one of the most senior officials out there, having worked 29 years. This may be his third or fourth Super Bowl, but he may retire after the season, so he's going out with the bang. Jonah Monroe, been around a while, 10 years, pretty good back judge. I don't think he's the best back judge, but he's going to get a Super Bowl after 10 years, so it's pretty good. Obviously better than I am. That's not the message here. But there's some other back judges that I think are pretty good. Greg Myers, Dino Paganelli, things like that. But Jonah's all right. I like the work that I've seen out of him so far. I would have, if I'd have been in charge, I would have swapped those crews. I would have put Ed Hockley and his mixed crew in Kansas City. That's what I really wanted. I was afraid. We knew Ed Hockley was going to get the championship game, right? We said that last week.
Right.
But I was hoping he would get the AFC championship game. They generally put him with NFC games, but it is what it is. All we can do is watch it and see and hope for the best. Should be some really good games. We'll find out after Sunday who our Super Bowl matchup's going to be for our show next week, which will be our championship review and our Super Bowl preview show coming up next week.
Anna says, I would just like to see an honest game. Thank you.
Yeah, wouldn't we all?
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all? I think we'll get that out of the Super Bowl crew. I feel pretty good about that crew,
Yeah.
and I'm not worried about the why I worry at this point, especially throughout the whole playoffs, because these are split crews. These are not the officials that have worked together all year. There can be problems there, but they do get the benefit, even though they're split crews, they get the benefit of a whole slurry of alternate officials that are all over the field. They've got a whole another crew and a half, if you will, of alternate officials that can come in if an official goes down, so they don't have to go to 6 officials. They've got guys that take the coat off, come off the bench, and can go anywhere on
What's
the
up,
field.
Richie?
And all these alternate officials are also all on the sidelines helping communicate with
Right.
coaches. So there's a lot of pressure to a point taking off some of the officials that are making the second to second call. So it's a little bit easier of assignment if you can call it a championship game easier, but they got a lot of help out there and a lot of experience to help run the game and make it run fairly smoothly. So a mixed crew isn't as bad as it sounds. I've never been 100% in favor of mixed crews, but because I feel like the communication that you get with the crew all year long then gets displaced by folks that you haven't worked with together, but they're going to spend the whole week talking about it. What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with that? I got feet, you got hands, I got the sideline, you got the end line, whatever the conversations they want to have. And I feel confident that Hockley's crew will be ready to go from that standpoint. So
Now,
Sean,
interesting.
I wonder if that
because Ed ain't working anymore. Sean.
Oh, gotcha.
Hey, Rich.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wonder if that memo's still out there, because I'm hearing a lot of like pregame hype and what do you call teasers about this whole 3-peat thing. So my vote is go Bills, smash to put that shit to bed.
Yeah, I don't want anybody red. Let me make sure on that. Yeah, I don't want. Well, okay, I don't want anybody from the AFC red in the Super Bowl.
Well, the Bills have some red.
Yeah, but
it's not their primary color.
It's not their primary color. Okay, if you're gonna go red, you can go that. I don't
like
even.
That
There's
Bishop.
a name
I like
for
that Bishop. Yeah.
The Commander's red, and
it's
like
maroon.
It's like a
yes, maroon. Yeah,
thank you.
Maroon.
What the hell it was? Yeah, that's
Bishop's
fine.
on something there. I like that.
I'm sick of red. I'm
frustrating
sick of it.
Mahomes could be the answer to a victory for the Bills. See,
well,
I like
you
the
know
way
what?
he's thinking. Get on him early.
They have a little bit of a playbook, right? They did win the regular season game in Buffalo. Yeah. Kansas City didn't play very well. They were without some players that they're probably going to have back this week. So there'll be it won't be quite the same from that standpoint, but there is some confidence knowing that you have beaten them before. Of course, you can ask the Seattle Seahawks about that as well, because they beat the Raiders twice during the '83 season and got creamed in a championship game. Third time around isn't always a charm in that case. Of course, obviously Buffalo, Kansas City are out division teams, but anyone but the AFC to win it all. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, normally I'm rooting for the NFC by this point because a certain team is always
you got it.
But I've said it. I want a Buffalo, and I wanted Buffalo Detroit.
Oh, I did too, because the teams had never won a Super Bowl. Buffalo's never been.
Exactly.
Would have been a great matchup.
That would have been the best Super Bowl that I think the entire nation would have gotten.
The only other intriguing matchup would have been Buffalo and Minnesota, because both of them are 0-4.
Right, and that was my second tier. But Minnesota shit the bed early on that one.
Yeah.
And by the way, for those folks that are talking about a certain Minnesota quarterback that dropped probably $60 million in pay in 2 weeks, between his week 17 performance, and that's WEEK, by the way, week 17 performance, and his week performance, WEAK performance in the divisional round, he dropped $60 million. I don't want you want him as the quarterback for the Raiders, and there's talk about Darnold.
I've heard that myself. Yeah.
So Rich wants big butt Buffalo versus Philadelphia, I think.
Big butt. Okay, big.
I
like it, Rich. Yeah.
The Buffaloes have a pretty big butt, so yeah.
And they got rid of one. Feliciano, who used to play for the Raiders, had a wide
Sure
old
did.
ass on him. But he don't play. But he don't play for
Nah.
him anymore.
That's true. By the way, if you don't follow Richard Che and the Wild Wild West show, you need to do that. Also, you need to follow him on Twitter. A lot of good comments in there about stuff going on, including the officiating. So a lot of stuff that he's chiming in on is pretty good. There was one comment though while we're talking about officiating, but there's what was comment Richard Che made about the officiating, like the fake personal foul helmet hit on Mahomes, not the flop, but the fake
Yeah, the fake
personal
hit,
foul.
yeah.
And then why running backs don't get the same call. Helmet to helmet contact is going to get called no matter who you are, but a runner has a little bit different protection set to a point than a quarterback. A quarterback is always going to be depending on who you are,
Right.
a crystal Tiffany statue handed down as an heirloom through many generations that cannot be touched, not even Swiffered with a duster because you might scratch it. Running backs are going to get the crap beat out of them.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, depending on who you are.
Unless your name is Cam Newton.
Yeah. Yeah. Running backs don't have the same protection, so to speak, and technically a quarterback doesn't either once a quarterback becomes a runner. But any helmet-to-helmet contact should be called, especially if it's the crown of the helmet, shoulder, head, neck injury, stuff like that. So there's some nuances there with regards to, the calls on a quarterback versus a running back, or if you will, a runner should be the same all the time. Technically, they are, but there's nuances when there are not. So it makes officiating hard in real time at NFL speed to make all those judgments. But I think the bigger issue here, and the point that I agreed with really with Rich with regards to the overall point, is that they need better enforcement of the rules. They may need more definition of the rules, but they need better enforcement of that. And to do that, they're going to have to get better consistency. That's not going to change till they change the training. The training stuck in 1974. And you have this conversation about, well, should we have full-time officials because they're part-time officials? Look, if you have a bunch of dumbasses that are part-time, making a full-time just give you a whole bunch of full-time dumbasses. If you don't, making a full-time, I'm not saying the officials are dumbasses. I'm just making a point here. But just unilaterally saying, okay, the officials are going to be full-time is not going to make it better. It's only going to get better if you change the training. Let's change the training and then see if they need to be full-time. Could they be better if they were full-time? I don't know. It depends on the quality of the training. But until they get the training out of 1974, you can't have 117 officials in the room watching video and then saying this is holding. Because you've got 100, if you've got 117 officials in there, you have 234 pairs of eyes, and I guarantee you there isn't 6 people in there that are all going to agree on what the trainer says is holding, because nobody still knows what it is. So you can't watch video all day, whether you're part-time or full-time, doesn't matter. You can't watch video, take tests, and expect the officiating to get better. That's just not going to happen. Repetition on the field it helps, but that's not the answer. They have to change the training. And I don't want to give away what that training is for free, but since you're all here on our show, I'm going to tell you what it is. Until the NFL adopts virtual reality for their officials with their training, with artificial intelligence built in, you can use the Madden game, you could use your own data set, whatever you want. Until all the officials, if I've got all the back judges in a room with the headset, I can control everything that every single one of those back judges is looking at any given moment. If we're watching a video, how do I know what you're looking at? You could be looking at your phone. You could be scratching your butt. You could be taking notes. I don't know what you're doing. I'm trying to show you what holding is. or what DPI is, but I don't know what you're doing. Scratching your butt, looking at your phone. If you're looking at a virtual reality headset, I can put you as the back judge with your crew all around you, and I can force you to look at what I want you to see.
To see.
Then if you can't get out there and call DPI, you're done. But you won't increase the consistency or the enforcement or the understanding of the rules, the application of the rules, and the situational game management until they adopt highly sophisticated artificial intelligence driven virtual reality. That will be how we change the game. If you don't do that, there won't be officials on the field. They're all just going to be a bunch of cameras, and you guys can just sit there and watch the game on the sideline, just like the guys running the stakes. They're not really running the stakes anymore. Chips in the ball.
Yeah, chips,
we got
right.
pylon cameras. We don't have to have all that. We have all the guys on the field because it makes it look like football. But you know what? You could do away with the officials tomorrow if you let the tech run it. Maybe not all of them. But there was always a question about, well, should we go to 8 officials? No, we don't need more officials on the field. We need better officials on the field, whether that's 2, 4, 6, 8 or 2, 4, 7. I don't know. But until they change the training and the implementation and the quality of the training, you're not going to get what you want. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to get it. Here's the other thing. The training doesn't stop once you leave the clinic. I want virtual reality built into their hat. Every official's wearing a hat. When there's a call on the field, that hologram's going to drop down from the bill of your hat. All 7 officials are going to watch the replay. Tell me what you got. They don't have to go. They can all still get together in a huddle and go, what are you doing after the game? You're going to go get a pizza. But everybody's watching it. And all this nonsense about, oh, this play's reviewable, that play's not reviewable. We've got replay assist. That crap. Every play gets reviewed in real time. Doesn't mean you stop the game. It doesn't mean you have to do anything. But you don't draw a line between this is reviewable and that's not reviewable. That's bullshit. It's all potentially reviewable. If I want to stop the game, I'll stop the game. But maybe I don't have to. But this other nonsense about, well, replay assist really can't help there. Then why do you have it?
Yeah.
It's either working or it's not working. And if it's only working when it's working and it's not working when it's not working, it's not working. So the NFL has a lot of work to do here, and I don't know if they're going to, but I just gave them the answer for free. No one's going to care, but everybody on this show will care. Go ahead.
And I think it will improve the product too. But go ahead, Kat.
No, and I'm sorry, I can't see the comments, or I would interject a little bit more. And this is something that I alluded to earlier, and people, or at least the wide swath of viewers that watch football, whether they're fans or not, the people that are watching football and I'm going to dime this mofo out. Patrick friggin' Mahomes. You know how they had the Jordan rules, and then in the NFL they had the Brady rules. Well, the Patrick Mahomes rules is because he's the top prima donna, and when everybody can see what he is doing, it's offensive. And there's rules in soccer about for goading on. Yeah. There's rules in hockey for instigating. There should be the rule of when that bastard gets close to the sideline and he does the little tiptoe dance, like oh hit me.
It shouldn't be any different than a slide. Your forward progress stops right there. You can dance around like a ballerina all you want to. That as soon as you start doing whatever you're doing, play's over. That's it.
And I tell you what, I don't condone violence per se, and I'm going to throw in the per se.
I like that per se. Come on.
Per se. But I've been good. I only had the S word out a couple times today, and I'm not going to drop it now. But that mofo, the people on defense, You need to figure out, you need to blast the son of a bitch like Eric Hipple got blasted by Scott Brantley years ago when he was on the sideline, and I'm trying to sound like Sam Kennison in Back to School.
But if you're gonna take out Mahomes, and I'm not advocating that you would.
Yeah, yeah.
My point is that if because there's been comments on Twitter, if you're gonna get the flag anyway, just take the penalty.
It now.
But
Let
let the teams decide that. But here's a little
worthwhile.
hint: if you're gonna do it on a scoring play, because they're gonna decline the penalty. You get the hit. Where's the penalty going to be enforced on? The kickoff?
The
Anybody care?
kickoff.
No.
Anybody care? No.
No.
You got
Nobody gives a crap where
That's right.
So if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna take out Mahomes, do it when he's got first and goal at the 9 or whatever, right? Or first whatever is So if because then if it's a scoring play, so what? I realize ahead of time you don't know it's going to be a scoring play, but if he's got first and goal inside the 5. Their play calling is not going to be any different half the distance to the goal from inside the 5.
Yep.
You got to get first and goal at the 5. You got first and goal at the 2.5. Is the play call really going to be all that much different? Take him out if that's what you want to do, if that's what their coach need to do. Because the penalties, if it's a scoring play, the penalty is going to be on the kickoff. It's a free 15-yard penalty.
Do it, because when you knock him off his socks, when he is discombobulated and when he's pissed off, it's the same way that Brady was. When Brady was pissed off and whining and crying, his play suffered.
Just ask Michael Strahan. Yep.
Blast the son of a bitch. There you go. I still haven't dropped an F-bomb yet.
No, that's okay. I tried to cover up the few that I had, but I'm kind of passionate about the way the zebras work.
And I do sound like Sam Kennison in Back to School. Well, little Miss Helper.
Well, did anybody see that nonsense on NFL Network where Walt Anderson gets on there and talks to Mariucci and Colleen Wolfe about those plays in Kansas City? And the whole thing pissed me off because you know that not only did they have a production meeting about it, but they scripted the whole thing. Because Walt Anderson's going, well, if you really look at this play, I think the fans will agree that this is the way it should have been. Exactly, Cap. Exactly. It's like get a rag because it's going to be all over the wall. Yeah. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So he just gets up there and just, I don't know.
I think it's Bukowski.
But see, that's the insult to the knowledgeable fans when they spew that nonsense out.
Yeah.
That's what gets insulting, right there.
Well, and Walt Anderson isn't about better fishing. He's about wanting to be liked by everybody. So he's not going to throw anybody under the bus. He doesn't even know how to drive a bus. Doesn't know where to park the bus. Couldn't find the bus if he wanted to throw somebody under it. Because he wouldn't, So it was so lame. Because he's like, well, I think if the fans will agree that we have contact like this, you have to call it. Okay, so Jared Goff gets plastered.
Wow.
And I know he's a defender at that point, which is different technically than being a quarterback. And they're in reverse mechanics, going the other way. So maybe somebody didn't see something, but that's an ugly optical double standard.
Yeah.
When Mahomes didn't even get hit.
No, he didn't get hit. That's the problem.
And then Goff gets plastered,
yeah.
And there's no flag, there's no nothing. Probably got concussed out of that thing, and there's Walt Anderson's not on TV defending that because there isn't any defense for it. So the whole pick and choose about what you want to talk about and how you're going to answer is BS.
And you actually made a good point because that pick 6, I think that was his second interception, maybe.
At least
that number 2,
or something, yeah.
So he threw at least another one, if not 2, after that.
That's right. He did.
So if he was concussed on that one, that indirectly led to the other one or the other 2 because he got schwacked.
Absolutely.
He got swept. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
lay it out to dry.
Just because and here's the nuances, which also goes back to what Richie Riche was saying, which fundamentally I agree with. I know his comment was he wants it called all the same. The nuances are you can't really, but in this particular case, I realize Goff's a defender there, but he's a defenseless defender, essentially. He's trying to help his team by making a tackle. You can't blow him up like that.
Yeah,
if that had been Mahomes in that play, oh my God, the player would have been disqualified, fined, and
They would have had
probably
a
kicked out of the
firing
league.
squad, and the guy whoever did it, just like those funny videos of the guys that are pretending that they're Collinsworth and the other schmuck.
They
They
would have
would have
perfect
stopped
his
the game.
ass clear
They
out of
would
the
have
league.
lined them up, and they would have shot him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there'd have been 4,000 flags on that play.
Yeah,
So the double standard in the optics is lame. They don't come out and address the optics in the double standard. They don't say, well, this is the situation here. You might not agree with it, but unfortunately, that's just the way it is. They don't explain any of that. You got to come on here to explain that. Now, remember, the officials are in reverse mechanics there. That Goff getting blown up was probably a difficult thing to see with all the mayhem going on there. But the referees at fault there, the quarterback's, the referee's responsibility, no matter what. So I'd have to look at their specific mechanics. I don't think he's got the goal line there. I think that's probably the line judge. The line judges on either side. I don't think the ref has the goal line there. But even if he does, can't take his eyes off the quarterback. That's still his primary key, even in reverse mechanics. He doesn't get absolved of that. Just because they're in reverse mechanics going the other way. And so that was just an ugly play. And then there's no NFL Network show about that. Walt Anderson didn't come on and explain that one. Oh, but he'll come on and explain, why Mahomes got the call and this whole, I couldn't believe it, guys. He says, I think everyone or fans will agree with us when they see this. I'm like, no, we don't.
No.
And quit.
He didn't get hit.
Yeah, it's like, God. Yeah, there were at least 3 calls against Mahomes in that game that were all bullshit. There was the flop. There was the one where he slid, didn't really get hit by anybody. And then there was the roughing the passer one where they didn't even hit him, I don't think.
But there were 2 roughing the passer ones. The one where it was the 3rd down play that they got a first down out of it.
Got a first down out of it, right.
And then there was a second roughing the passer call that was called. And I'm like, and that is why the Houston Texans, from the coach to Will Anderson to Stroud to everybody else that had a mic in front of them, and they're probably going to be fined, which is unfortunate because they said what everybody saw. Yeah. What everybody saw.
Exactly. Well, if that was the case, then there were at least 4 calls in that game.
Two personal fouls against the Texans that were bullshit.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. That's messed up, guys. And I know we harp on it on this show, but I just try to give you the insight and try to explain the nuances that go along with all this other noise that we hear. And when some of that noise is actually coming out of the league office, it just turns my gut because they don't even want to really address the real problem. And it's one thing to not address it when things happen on the field during the games. But then they don't address it during the off season either. They're not doing anything to change any of the training for the officials to actually make them better. I spent probably 2 hours with Merle Robinson, the guy who's going to be working in Super Bowl, in the clinic with Pac-12 officials. He taught those guys more. And again, we're watching video, which makes it hard because you don't know what people are really looking at. But he taught those guys more in 2 hours than I think they've probably learned in however long they've been officiating in the Pac-12. And when you're around mentors like that, you can learn a lot. Game experience is the only thing that will take it to the next level. But if you can't fix the training, these athletes are full-time athletes now, right? Which has been part of the argument. So, well, if the players are full-time, the officials will be full-time. Okay, but why did the players go to full-time? Because, first of all, they're getting enough money that they don't have to work in the offseason. But the game has changed. They got to be in better shape. They got to be – the playbook's deeper. They got a lot of things going on. The officials make enough money. They don't have to work during the offseason. Some of them do because they make even more money. They're not making players money, but they're making darn good money. But if you – so there are some officials that don't want to be full-time because they're heads of a company or they're lawyers or they get to, do the speaker circuit or whatever, floats their boat, that they make even more money out. So they want to be full-time to take away their quote other income. So I understand that. But the players are full-time, but they didn't just go full time and push sleds all day like they used to. Remember when preseason used to be 6 games, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because they had
Yeah.
to get everybody into shape, and you're pushing sleds and you're lifting weights. Players are still doing that, but not in the same type and style that they used to. They used to go out there, have 2 days, hit the sleds, lift weights. All that. They're doing a whole different regimen now. It may still include some of that, but it's a whole bunch of other things. It's diet, it's exercise, it's Geritol, it's all the officials hasn't changed a damn thing since 1974. They After the Super Bowl, there'll be a blackout period where the league can't even talk to them until like May 15th. Then they go to they get their uniform assignments, their crew assignments. They go to a clinic. They run a half mile in under 2 minutes, and woohoo, we're in shape. And then they go out there and officiate against a bunch of guys that have been working for the last 12 months with the same training that they had in 1974, which basically amounts to watching a lot of video and taking some tests. Now, if the players went out there watching a lot of video and taking some tests, how good would they be? Not very good, probably. Well, the officiating is decent. No, well, we get 98% of our call. Yeah, because most of you guys have been there for 400 years, not lately. But this is why it's been so bad over the last 7 or 8 years, because all those rank and file officials that had all the tenure are all gone. All the white hats that had all the tenure and had the league by the nuts by saying this is not how we're going to run this show, they've all gone. So the league has kind of leaked in all of their bullshit about, well, this is how we're going to do officiating. And the official don't even know how to stand up and say, no, it's not how we're going to do it. They're just, oh, yes, sir. Okay, that's how we'll do it. Sure, that's how we'll do it. And they just bow down. Yeah, exactly. And it's frustrating because if I were in charge, I'd be telling the league to go flip it, because this is how we're going to run the show. And if you don't want the show, then go get a folding chair, because that's about where we are at this point.
Says, why is Andy Reid getting Coach of the Year award while the Commanders have a rookie QB? Shouldn't their coach get it? Good question right there.
Their coach didn't go to 7 championship games in a row.
I
don't know. That's a really good question.
Well, I know he won his 300th game, and he's like third in the ranking and all that crap. But
well, you know what? If he hangs around, he's going to beat Belichick, Shula, and
yeah,
Dallas.
he's yeah.
I mean, how could you not with the
That's
way
the only
that the
two
Chiefs
that's in
are
front
rolling?
of him. Yeah.
I mean, as long as he's got Mahomes and they keep some semblance of defense, you can argue that Chiefs defense is the best it's been in their Super Bowl run since Super Bowl 54, quite frankly.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. But
actually, it's what the record is. What, 331 or 3 what?
I think it's over 300.
It's over 3.
Oh, you mean the NFL record? Oh,
right.
I thought it was like 326 or something.
Well, I thought it was like 331. So basically, all Andy Reid has to do is do 3 more years with 10-win teams, and he'll get it.
And he's there, right?
If he doesn't,
another historic story for the league.
And he's only 66 or something, so that's totally
66,
doable.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. His problem is cheeseburgers.
Chicken wings. Yeah. Yeah, chicken wings. Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully the Chiefs will get their wings to go this week.
Yeah,
all right.
Buffalo
Well, guys,
bringing
thanks
in.
for letting me shout out from my
That's
zebra high horse there.
I hear you, man.
But
Hey,
it is frustrating. I just like to try to explain the why.
very much.
Yeah,
Very
I'll
much.
just, first off, the thought of the day is this. Let me get it.
There is
What's
only
my
one
shirt?
nation.
There's only one
Yeah.
nation.
Only one nation. In case anybody was wondering, I saw that I'm going to wear this shirt today. And again, if you're not listening to me doing my Sam Kinison impersonation, it's not an act. It's not an act. It really pisses me off beyond compare. Okay, the way that things are. So if I must, remember, there's only one nation. If you don't mind, let me be the last person you talk to today, Ref, on the way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, and you guys do your little.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're nearing the end of the season. Next week will be our AFC Championship review and our Super Bowl preview show. Unless something breaks, it's probably going to be our season finale next week. So don't forget to join us on Wednesday, 3/6 NFL Nation Live. Our Week 22 show might be it for 2024. It's been great as always to have all of you, but we'll save most of our goodbyes, if you will, for next week. We've got some 3 football games left, and we got to make sure we're ready for all of them. So with that said, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Wayne.
Yeah, let's go.
I might not be here next week because I'm working and freezing my nuts off in Kansas. I don't want to see red when I get into MCI. That's Kansas City's airport. F red. F everybody that likes red. And yarn! There's only one nation, and it's Raider Nation.
Well, he
That's my
said-
thoughts right there.
He knows it's Kansas City, Kansas, not Kansas
Oh,
City,
yeah.
Missouri, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
still in misery.
All right.
He's in misery.
Yeah, no doubt
My
about
man.
it. Yeah.
Take care, guys.
And by the way, 57, thanks for the game day, but
Oh, you got it. My pleasure. My pleasure.
all right, we'll see y'all next week.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Set.